Hi, my name is Mike Quinn, and this is the Ultimate Frontline Leadership Training Podcast. Now, today we're going to look at why we get so surprised by our team's actions when in reality we should have seen it coming. Now, your team tells you who they are every day. They come to work late with stupid excuses. They don't show up in uniform, punch in, and then get dressed. They're on their cell phones all the time. They get their friends to make them free food. They call in sick on weekends and holidays and then ask for more hours because they can't pay their rent. Or there's other behavior that they constantly show you, like they always are looking for something to do, or they always get their areas set up systematically so they don't forget anything and they have things ready when they're needed. Now, why are we surprised when someone who constantly needs to be supervised calls in sick on a holiday? Why are we so surprised when a disorganized server gets swamped on a fairly normal day? Now, people tell you who they are all the time. They can't help it. They act consistently with who they are, constantly. If they don't, then they're lying. But that will be an aberration. That'll be something different than they normally do. Now, some people are great, some good, some not so good. This is your team, and knowing their strengths and weaknesses will help you plan for events and stations or side work that can help someone become a better team player. People are who they are. Some good, some great, some not so great. This is your team, and knowing their strengths and weaknesses will help you plan for events and stations or side work that can help someone become a better team player. Some people will embrace the education to become better at their job, and some will be resentful and complain about the extra attention. This is telling you something about who they are. Believe them. Knowing who your people are is key to running an efficient shift. Having key staff in key positions insulates you from having some problems before they even happen. Having slackers in slower areas removes them from the possibility of truly messing up everyone's day, although they can still be a pain, but at least it didn't shut down the whole shop. So it's time to start believing people when they tell you who they are. Getting to know them better, like what their hobbies are, what their home and family life is like, etc., can help eliminate false assumptions. Like one time, I noticed someone was coming in late every day. It didn't used to happen, so what changed? I asked them as a friend, sincerely, what was going on and how could I help? It turns out that their babysitter moved and they were having trouble finding a new one and had to get a relative to temporarily fill in for the situation until they found a better babysitter. And they had to wait for that relative to get off work before they could come to work themselves. Now, I told them I'd be understanding, but this had to be fixed soon. Other people were depending on them to be here on time. Soon afterwards, they got a babysitter and everything came back as normal. So this was not something that, needed punitive attention. What this needed was an empathetic ear and to help work together to find a solution for the problem. Now, this is one example of watching for changes in individual behavior and then finding out what the issue really is. Another example is someone constantly asking other employees for money. Now, I talked to this person and we agreed they couldn't continue as everyone was getting nervous about counting money at the end of their shift. So I talked with them and they agreed it had to stop. So I thought the situation was handled, but the behavior persisted. They still asked other servers and stuff at the end of the night for money while they were counting their money right in front of them. And so it was pressuring the servers to give him some money. Now, because I'd already talked to him and they knew that this behavior could not continue, but they still persisted, I had to believe this behavior would not voluntarily stop. So I had to step up my game to protect the servers. A few write-ups and the behavior stopped. Thankfully, they sought help, they quit drinking, and the begging stopped. So that's another situation where, you get to know the people that you're working with, and, some are going to have personal problems, some are going to have addictions, some are going to have, different things going on. And it's better to understand what your team is having to go through so that you can help find solutions instead of just penalizing them for having a life and having issues, which everybody's going to have. and helping to find solutions to the problems, and then getting everything back on track. Now, believing people who they act and say they are is key to finding solutions for personal problems. You will never solve any problem by pretending it doesn't exist. Leaders lead, fakers pretend. Next, I'll talk about accurately rating your team and all the things you can do with these ratings to help increase productivity and promote people who are ready for more responsibility. Until then, see you later.